In this series of Tableau, first we'll see about the necessity of data visualizations. Okay, now what is data visualization? Data visualization is a process of converting your raw data into an easily understandable information, which can be further converted to a graphical charts with the help of which we can take a better and effective decisions for a better business. The purpose of data visualization is used to analyze the data in a better way, faster decision making. So with the help of this particular graphs, so we can make a better decision, a faster decisions. Okay, and a simplification of the data. So when you see this particular raw data, it becomes very difficult to understand. But the same data, when you see it in the form of graphs, in the form of visuals, so it becomes very easy to analyze a lot of data in a single picture or a single graph. Okay, fine. Now, see here I've just taken an example. On the left hand side, you can see that we have some Excel, that is the raw data. So which is just like, a lot of data is there. Okay, and with the help of which it becomes really very difficult to analyze, take some kind of a decision. But on the right hand side, we see that we have different types of visuals. We have a bar chart, geographic charts, we have a line charts where we are able to analyze the trend analysis. We also have a pie chart. Okay, so with the help of which we can do a kind of a comparisons, like, okay, when you talk about this particular bar chart, so we can see, like, this is representing the subcategory wise sales. From this raw data, we've taken the subcategory wise, so which is showing the summarized value. So where we can see that, oh, phones and chairs, they have been a very outlier value, they have done extremely very good. But at the end of the day, you can see the phones are standing in the top, so that means, okay, it has done the higher sales than the chairs. Okay, and then we have a storage and the tables and whether they have been performing the sales. So this is we are easily able to analyze it from this particular raw data. So, like, which particular subcategory has done a better sales, where we have done lower sales. We have a geographic chart here. So with the help of this particular geographic chart, so we are able to analyze each state wise how they are being performed. So we can see here there are some kind of a states where we have a high intensity colors. So that means the states which have the high intensity colors, they are like high sales. The low intensity colors are low sales. That means we understand the California, Washington, they have something like, the colors of more high intensity, and New York and all this thing. So they are little high sales, and Texas and all this thing. So we see that in the western region, Washington, California and Washington have higher sales, and in the south region we see that Texas has done higher sales, and when you see the east region, we have the high sales from the, what is it, the New York region, and we see that other states, like, the intensity of the color is very light, that means they have a lower sale. So we can analyze this particular information. So geographically, the state wise, and that state belongs to which particular region, what is the neighboring region, how they have been performing. So we are able to analyze this. Okay, now the same way we have this particular line chart here. So again, from the same data, we have converted this to a line chart. So where we can, area chart rather, it's a filled line chart. So where we can see the lines, okay, the areas which is just going up and down. It is like, no, month wise how the sales are happening. So okay, the first month how it happened, second month there was again dip, again the third month there was a kind of a big raise, and then again the kind of an average sales, and there is a kind of a raise on every year, and you can see there is a kind of a peaks here. And the start of the year the sales are low, at the end of the year we see the sales are high. And we also see that during this particular 4 years of time, so how this particular what is it, the sales have been increased. So we can see that particular trend line says, like, the sales what was there in 2018 to 21, there is a kind of a progress growth what has happened. So we are able to analyze this particular information. So we call this the trend analysis we can do, okay, with the help of visuals. Now here I have taken a pie chart, okay, is one of the visualization. So mainly we use this particular pie chart is when you want to see the individual values, okay, contribution for the grand total. Okay, so whatever the total sales is there, how much percentages of the sales has been contributed by the consumer segment, how much sales is contributed by the corporate segment, how much is contributed to home offices. So you want to get those kind of analysis. Yeah, with the help of this, easily we can come to know that consumers have done more than half of the sales. Okay, and we can see the home office less than the quarter of the sales. Okay, about 18 to 20% of the sales. We can see 30% of the sales is done by the corporate segment. So that is what a kind of a rough analysis we can get it with the help of this one. And then, yeah. Now, Tableau is one of the tools with the help of which we can really create a lot of visualizations, with the help of which we can easily understand the data, okay, for a better decision making. So it is one of the widely used tool which is used in the business intelligence industries. Okay, there are many popular data visualization tools. Tableau is there. We have a Power BI. We also have a ClickView. These are some of the very popular data visualization tools. That is, all these particular tools or many other tools are also there with the help of which we can do the data visualization. But we'll try to understand why we use a Tableau, why Tableau is in more trending. Okay, we see the Tableau and Power BI, they are in a big trending, okay, when it comes to the data analysis and data visualization purpose. So the main reason here is the Tableau is lightweight and it has a better performance than the other BI tools, okay, since it is a lightweight and it works much faster. It's a very user friendly. Mean to say is when you're working with this and you want to create a data visualizations, so it is almost like an Excel skills. Okay, so if you are well versed with Excel, pivot tables and the charts and all these things, so here we have something similar kind of a drag and drop tools with the help of which we can create the what do you say, the visuals, dashboards, and all these things can be created and connect to many different types of data sources. So now again, in the business intelligence industry, what happens, the data is available on the different types of data sources. It might be the file systems, it might be database servers, or it might be the cloud servers or anything. So now Tableau is one which can connect to many number of data sources. I can say more than 70 plus different data sources it can get connected. Another thing is Tableau can connect even to data sources which is very heavy, like large data sets. Yeah, it supports. Okay, that is one more reason why people are going for the Tableau. Okay, apart from that, with the help of the Tableau, we can really create an interactive dashboards. Interactive dashboards is, the dashboard is what is nothing but a collection of visuals, which we'll be seeing in the coming sessions. Okay, and when you select a particular region, so I want all those particular sales values, all the measurable values to be shown only for that particular regions. Okay, that can be done. And once you have created this particular dashboards, and we also have a storyboard here, so with the help of this particular dashboards and whatever the sheets you work, so you can explain to your business managers with the help of the story within the dashboard. That is a live presentation can be done. And so once you have done it, so we need to share it to the clients, where we have to share it with the individuals or organizations. For that, we need to publish it. So Tableau also gives us features of publishing this particular report or the dashboard that you have created to the Tableau server, and that then it can be what is it, shared with the different organizations or the clients to whom you want those reports to be shared with. Okay, fine. So next is I said it supports many different types of data sources. Some of the different types of data sources. It supports the text data sources. Text is like file system, rather it can be a CSV file, it can be a JSON file, okay, XML file. Yeah, it supports. It supports the Excel files. You can see maximum people work on Excel when it comes to our data works. Okay, and when you have the data in Excel, yeah, Tableau supports read the data from the Excel. So multiple sheets of the Excels can be read. Databases. So we know that the databases like Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, so they allow us to store a large amount of data with a more organized of relational database with multiple tables and all those things. Yeah, the Tableau supports connecting to those particular data sources and extracting the data from those particular tables, what is there in those data sources or the views and things. It also supports helps you to connect to big data, jet database, which is like Access database, or even the databases which is stored on the cloud. Okay, the Amazon cloud, or it might be Azure cloud. Okay, so cloud databases and all these things. Yeah, it can support. Okay, now the next thing is, see, when you're working with this particular Tableau, so Tableau comes out with different products, different editions of the software that I can say. We have some products for the developers, and we also have products for sharing the report. So in the developer, we have it for called as the Tableau Desktop and the Tableau Public. So when I say Tableau Desktop is actually a paid version used by the enterprises, which has all the features what is required extracting the data, doing the transformation on that particular data, connecting to what is say many different types of data sources, and even working with the direct query. That means if you have a large amount of data on the servers like SQL servers or Oracle servers and things, so it is not feasible to import the data and then to work on it. So helps you to work with the direct queries. Okay, and also it has the features of sharing, what is it, publishing the report to the Tableau server. But when it comes to a Tableau Public is a free version. So when I say it's a free version, that means it's a version which is mainly used for the learners. Okay, people who want to learn Tableau, so they don't have to invest in buying the license software. So they can go with the Tableau Public, which is completely free of cost. So since it's a free of cost, okay, it supports almost all the features as the desktop supports. So as a point of visualizations and things, but it has some limitations. The limitations are it can connect only to a limited data sources, like mainly it supports only to the file systems like Excel file, CSV file, JSON file, and so on. It cannot support to servers and things. Yeah, Tableau Public we cannot work with the direct query, so we always have to work with the import. So that means the direct query we use when the data is very large. So since it's for learning purpose, yeah, so you can try out some kind of a limited amount of data. You can work with the file systems, Excel or CSV data, you can read and then you can work with that. Okay, so there are some kind of limitations, and apart from that, when it comes to a Tableau Public, you cannot save the file locally to your hard disk, and you can save only to the Tableau Public cloud. Whereas in the desktop, so we have the option of saving the data to a local file as well as Tableau private cloud. Okay, fine. This is about the developer products. Now, when it comes to sharing, so we have a Tableau server, reader, and online. So mainly we use this particular server is okay. You want to publish this report to the server, and so that you can give an access for the end users to work with this particular data. Okay, it's a sharing tool, so it is mainly used at the enterprise level. Okay, so where you can share the reports and the end users can access this particular reports, or we can just create a link and we can share it to the individual organizations. Tableau Reader. So as the name only says reader, this is a what is it? What is it? Addition. There's one other product of Tableau. So which is mainly used for viewing the reports. Okay, so the end user they just want to view the reports. They don't want the features of editing this particular worksheet or anything. They just want as a viewing. So it's a kind of a cost-effective kind of things I can say. So it's a use only for reading purpose. And we have a Tableau Online. So Tableau Online is something like your whatever the reports you have created, whatever the dashboards you have created, you are hosting it on the what say cloud, and you're working on the cloud. The workbooks can be edited and can be worked on the cloud. Online we can work. Okay, these are the different products of Tableau. So mainly, as we go on in the session, we'll be learning with the Tableau Publics as it supports almost all the features as that of the desktop. Only it has some limitations of connecting to servers, okay, database servers, and also like what you say, you cannot save the file locally, but it has all the and direct query you cannot work. So since we are learning, so we will use this particular Tableau Public and we'll try to learn in the coming sessions about the Tableau. Okay, this series of Tableau sessions, we learn about getting familiar with the Tableau. Okay, so first thing is how do we download this particular Tableau? So as we said, like for the what is it, developers, we have two editions, two products. That is, we have a Tableau Desktop and Tableau Public. So Tableau Desktop, obviously, like it's a paid version, so it is used in the enterprise. So as a learning purpose, we'll go with the Tableau Public. So to download, so we can follow this particular link that is being given over here. Okay, for downloading this particular Tableau, that is http://public.tableau.com/downloads. So from this particular link, so we can just download this particular Tableau. Okay, so once you go to this particular link, you can see you will get this particular blue button here that it says to download the Tableau edition. So when you hit on this, it starts downloading. So it is just a downloading file. So it's around 250 MB or something. So it is going to be a not very heavy file. Okay, thanks. Now once you have downloaded this particular Tableau, the executable file, so what we do, we just double click on the file and start the installation. Once the installation has been completed, you want to check whether the Tableau is installed or not. You just click on the start on your screen and you can just see there is a Tableau Public and the respective version, whichever you have downloaded latest version, it shows you. and just click on that. So that is going to start with your tapping. So when you hit on this particular thing, the very first screen comes here is the Tableau home page. So where on your left hand side we can see it just shows you, like, what are the different types of data source that you can get connected, and also it shows you the recently open project. So let us see it practically. So I just clicked on started the Tableau. So as soon as you start this particular Tableau here, so we see this particular thing. So on your left hand side it just says connect. So you want to get connected to what data files. So Excel file or text file or JSON file or Access file. As I said, the public doesn't support all the different types of data sources. Only to it is restricted to the file systems. Okay, and we can see in the center here. So it shows me some of my recent files what I have created. When I just hit on that, I should be able to open that file. Recently created, okay, some of the projects which I have just recently created. I have created some sales dashboard. As soon as I hit on that, it just opens that particular dashboard in beta. And then we can go ahead. See, first thing is what I want here is I want to read the data from the Excel file and then start working on that. So since what type of file I want to work with, I want to work with Excel. So I just click on this Microsoft Excel. As soon as you click on this particular Excel, it just says, okay, tell me the file, which file you want to go for it. Okay, so let me use this sample superstore, which is a very commonly used file, and I say this about the e-commerce data. So it has, okay, so I'll just select this sample superstore, and this will be provided in your Tableau data source. Okay, so I'll be providing this in the link. Okay, I just open this. As soon as you open this, so now this is the Excel file. So when I talk about the Excel file contains a collection of worksheets. The same way, this file has many sheets here. So you can see here, it shows me, like, we have the order sheet, people sheet, return sheet. Okay, so different sheets are there. Now which data you want to bring in. Okay, so what I will do is I just want to read the data from the order sheet. I just select this, drag and drop. As soon as you drag and drop this particular thing, you can see it is just starts loading this particular data. So it is about the complete sales data is over here. So it has around 9,995 rows are there. So we can just look into this one. So it says to update, so update now. So you can see it has totally 9,995 rows and 21 columns, and it is showing a sample preview of 100 rows. So you can increase that numbers. Okay, fine. So the next thing here when you observe in this one is, okay, so Tableau, when it reads the data, it automatically gives the column names, row ID or order ID, order date, ship date, all those particular columns. Whatever that is being read, it is reading all those columns. And you can see automatically it is assigning the data type. So you can see this is given the data type as hash. Hash means it is representing a number type. So this is given as a data type called as ABC. ABC is representing the text values. Now we have an order date and the ship date. So they are actually having the date values. They are having the date values. Since they are having the date value, you can see the data type assigned is the date. Okay, and the same way you can see that what is it, the ship mode and all this thing, they have a character data, so it has been assigned with the character. And one more observation here is when it comes to a country region, they have something related to geographic data. So you can see it shows a globe symbol, that means it's a geographic data. So what we understand from this one is when the Tableau reads the data, it not only reads the data, it also identifies the type of data, and accordingly the respective data type is being assigned. So the different data types, and we can see that every column is assigned with the respective. So you can see these are geographic columns. Okay, means they can be used for creating the maps. Okay, maps and all these things, map-wise analysis, state-wise, region-wise, and things. So we have a country, city, state, postal code. These are the geographic field, and so you can see the numbers are ABC, and the numbers are in hash, and the text fields is there. So now let us see how do we create some kind of a visual. So if I have to create a visual here, so again, so we can see that here, so we have a go-to sheet. Go-to sheet is what? You are getting to the worksheet so to create the visuals. So we just need to hit on this particular go-to sheet. So when you hit on this particular sheet, It's like Excel sheet one, no? So as soon as you hit on this particular sheet, you can see you get this particular area. And in this area, I'll tell you, is on your left hand side. So we have this particular window where we can see all the fields are there. Category, region, okay, customer name, order date, all the fields. Okay. And so when you see here, okay, these are like, the fields, the data fields has been displayed. So apart from that, we do also have what you call it as the marks card. So this page, filter, and the marks, they are called as cards. Okay, the cards are used for customizing your visuals, which we will be seeing when you go to the visuals. So mainly I can see the pages are used for doing the animations on your visuals. Okay, so you want to give kind of a play access. Filters are used to apply the filters on your visuals. Okay, and the marks, yeah, this has many options here where you can change the type of charts. So we can do the coloring for that particular charts based on the dimensions, based on the measures. Or we can also resize this particular charts. We can add some data labels to that, so we can get the detailed information. Okay, and you can also use the tooltip. There are many options here. So as we go further, we'll be looking into this particular cards. Okay, and apart from that, we do also have the shelves here. So we have a row shelf and we have a column shelf. So these are like, when you're creating the charts, what data you want in the rows, what you want in the columns. So we can just place it with the help of this one. So respective columns will be placed here. Okay, so the respective columns will be placed. So dimension and the measures will be placed here to create the charts. Okay, so where I'll next slides I'll just come to the dimension and the measures and things. So now, if I have to create a chart, so okay, these are the components, and apart from that, we can see on your right hand side we have a show me. So when I say show me, this is options which is used for creating the chart. Okay, so like example, it tells you like when I want to create a pie chart, what is the requirement for a pie chart? It says the requirement for the pie chart is it needs one what is say measure and one dimension. If I go with this particular geographic chart, the requirement is you should have at least one geographic field, optional dimension and the measures. And when I go to the line chart, so what is needed here? We need to have at least one date field and one measurable field, but it can have zero or more dimensions. It just gives me like the information like how to create a chart. Now let us create let us create a simple chart. Now take an example. I want to create a bar chart. See, for the bar chart, the minimum requirement is we need to have one measure and zero dimension. So what I do, I just select the measure here, sales. It just creates a total sales. Okay. And then I can also use what is it, the dimension. Dimensions are just used for dividing this. Okay, we can see that region wise all the sales are happening. So we can create this particular charts, okay, on just a few clicks. Okay, so this is like getting familiar. So we just saw like how do we install this particular Tableau and how do we get connected to what is it, the data source like Excel file we have connected, and importing that respective sheet for the visualizations. And then we go to the sheet here. So in the sheet we saw that there is a data tab which shows you all the fields, and the fields are divided based on the dimensions and the measures. Okay, dimensions are mainly the categorical informations, the fields which is used for dividing this particular data based on the categories. So, or I can say they are non-measurable values. They are just used for categorizing the data or grouping the data. And the measures, okay, so they are represented in green color and dimensions are represented in blue color. So measures, they are a calculative fields, okay, mainly used for applying some calculations. So like on the measures we can apply the aggregations like what is the total sales, average sales, highest sales, lowest sales. We can apply those things. Okay, and we just got familiar with the cards, the shells, and the show me. So which helps you to create the different types of charts. It guides you like if you have to create a chart, what is the minimum requirement, how many dimensions are required, how many measures are required, how many different types of special values are needed. So it just tells you that, and with the help of that we can easily decide which charts to be created. Okay, thank you for this particular session. Hi, in this session of Tableau series, we'll try to understand how do we organize the data in the Tableau. So let us see the life of a data analyst. Okay, a task what is supposed to do. As a data analyst in your organization, you are asked to sort the data to make evaluations easier to understand the data. To achieve this, you are required to arrange the data in the various structures, such as sorting, grouping, creating the sets, as well as creating the hierarchies. So in this session, we'll see about this particular things of how do we sort the data, how do we divide the data into groups, and also we'll see about the sets and hierarchies. Let us start off with sorting. So now when I say sorting, sorting is a technique of arranging the data in an order. So that is keeping the data in an order, which is generally an ascending order or it is a descending order. It helps in understanding the data in a better way. So that means when the data is arranged in an order, it becomes more easy to understand the data. That is the purpose of going for the sorting. Let us see practically how do we do this particular sorting. Okay. Now we are working with this particular sample superstore data. So first thing is, so we have a subcategories. Let me take a subcategories and I'll take the sales here. Fine. So we just have this particular subcategories and sales. Now as soon as you select a dimension and you select the values, the data is being shown here. Now what happens is by default the data is sorted in the order of your data source. Okay, in the data source, the data is arranged in the alphabetical order of the what is a subcategory to showing the subcategory wise sales. Now what I want to arrange it. So what I will do is I'll just take the dimension here. So this is we can see here subcategory. I'll just click on this. Here we have a sort. So when I just say hit on the sort, we can just change the sort to whatever the order you want it. Okay. So when you hit on the sort, you can see that by default the sorting is displayed as in the ascending order. You want in the descending order. So we say descending, we can see it has become a Z to A. Ascending is A to Z and descending is Z to A. Fine. Now what I want is I want to sort this based on this particular what you say the sales. I want to sort based on the sales. So in that case, instead of data source, I'll select a field. Sales is one of the field. Okay. And here I can just select the field name. So sales is selected. I can select this. So and I'll just say I want in the ascending order, it is lower sales to the higher sales. Descending order, so that means higher sales value to the lower sales values. Okay. So this is how we apply the sortings. Okay, suppose if you have multiple fields, we have a sales as well as the profit. So one thing is when you have multiple in the header, you have this option of sorting it. So when you can see arrange based on the profit in the descending order or profit in the ascending order, or you want to arrange based on this, we can do it. So we have multiple ways to do in Tableau. So either you just click on this icon to sort it, you can do that, or you can just click on the dimension, just right click, say sort. So as soon as you hit on this particular sort, you get this particular dialog box here. So here you can just select based on what you want to do the sorting. I want to sort based on the field. Which field? Sales or profit. Okay. If I say I want to sort it based on the profit, fine. In the descending order, the highest profit in the top. So it's just selected. So it is sorted based on the profit in the descending order. Okay. Good. That is how we do the sorting. Next is, okay. So this is about your sorting. How do we arrange the data? Next is grouping. So what is grouping? Grouping is nothing but it's combining multiple values, okay, and you want to compare with the other one. So let us see how do we do this particular grouping. So now I'll just go to another sheet here. Let me take an example here. So I just have sales. I will take this for the segment wise. Okay, so we have a segment wise sales. When you look into this, we have a consumers which has done a very good sales. And the corporate and the home office, they have done, home office has done a very low sales. A corporate kind of an average or above average sales it is done. Now what I want to do is we have seen the consumers, we have a very huge sales and the corporate and home office are kind of average and below average sales are there. Now I want to combine the corporate and the home office together and then you want to compare this with the consumer sales, whether it has been done higher than the consumer sales or not. So what I will do, that is where exactly we do the grouping. So I want to group in the segment, I want to group the corporate and the home office. I'm selecting the corporate, I'll hold on the control key and select the home office. I'm selecting the headings of both and I'll just right click here and here we can see we have a group option. As soon as you hit on this group, you can see this has become as one group. You can see when you combine together the corporate and the home office, still the consumer has done highest sales. Okay, so the consumer alone has done the higher sales of more than what the corporate and the home office is being done. So that is what we are able to group and do the analysis. Okay, so like we can group multiple states together as one group, and then you want to compare with other states. Yes, we can do it that way also. Okay, that is about your grouping. Now the next thing is we'll see about a set. What is a set? Set is a custom field that are used to keep the subset of the data based on certain conditions. It is used to create a subset of the data based on certain condition based by the user, that is defined by the user. So now we can have three different. So we can have a set based on the selection item, we can have a set based on the conditions, or we can also have a set based on the top bottom rows. Let us see practically how do we work with the sets. Now I have a subcategory wise. Let me do it again. So I just take this particular sales data for subcategories. Okay, so we have the various subcategories here, and we have this particular sales data. Now what I want here is, so see, we have many ways to do the grouping. So one is like all those particular values which is more than 1 lakh, I want to make that as one group, or more than 2 lakhs, those values which is coming more than 2 lakhs, I want to say this is the kind of a sales which is more than 2 lakhs, or something like high sales or something. Okay, so what I will do here is I just select this which is about 2 lakhs. Okay, I'm just selecting, that is like randomly you're selecting the top values or something. You're selecting this, and you can just right click on this, and you can just see group. So now what happens, this becomes a group, say subcategory based on the group. Okay, and you can see those particular things which is falling in this group is in blue color, and those particular subcategories which is not falling in the group, it is being grayed out. Okay, so now you have selected this group based on the selection. Now we can do the based on the selections, or we have multiple ways to do the grouping. Okay, let us see another example here of grouping. That is the sets. I just take the same. I just take the subcategory wise sales. Okay, and I want this to be as a chart. So I just see subcategory wise sales. Now what I want is, I want to create a set based on some selected items. Okay, like example, I want to take some selected items I want to go for. Okay, so in that case what I do, I just click on this particular subcategory. Okay, and then I just go to the create, and I just say set. I want to create a set. Now you can see it shows the list of all the subcategories here. Okay, so let me select. Okay, I can select from this. Okay, all the subcategories. So from this, I want to select only some of the items. Like say, I want to select the tables. I want to select the papers and phones, and then I say copiers, and then I want to select the say binders. Some of the items that I want to go for the selection based on my choice. I say chairs. I want to select. So this is some of the items, like how many items? 3 plus 3, 6 items I have selected. So I can give a name for the set. You can see the set name is category subset. Okay, set has been there. Let me give a name. I just say this is a set by my choice. Okay, might be like you want to select small office items, or might be like some of the commonly used items or something. Like you can just go for it. I'm just creating a set, and you can give a name for that. Fine. Say okay, and you can see we have got a set here called as set of my choice. I want to show like those particular items of your choice. I want that to be in the highlighted color. Rest I want to show it in the grayed out color. So what you do, select this, add to the color. As soon as you add this to the color, you can see those particular items which is you have been defined. Okay, but that is your choice. So those are this particular things. The other one is the grayed out color. Fine. This is another way. This is one way to give the set based on your choice. You can select what items you want to include in the set and what items you don't want to include in the set. Now set also can be created based on the conditions. So like I say, I want all the sales which is more than 1 lakh to be highlighted. So what I do, I just create another set. So that is, I want to see all those subcategories where the sales value is more than 1 lakh. I want to show in this different color. So I'll just say right click on this, create set, and I'll just say I want to do the conditions. I'll just go to the condition. Then again, when you go to the condition, here it says by what? By sum of sales. If it is greater than or equal to 1 lakh, more than 1 lakh. If if the sum of sales, total sales value is more than 1 lakh for these subcategories I want. So let me give as subcategory set which is greater than 1L. 1L is 1 lakh, is it? Fine. I just say okay. That's it. A new set is being created. Now, when I include this one into the color, you can see all those particular sales value which is more than 1 lakh is being highlighted with the blue color, and those which is below 1 lakh is grayed out. Now you want to show this with a different color. Yes, we can change the color. We can just go to the color, and we can see in and out. In I want in green color. I say out I want in red color. Less than 1 lakh is showing in the red color, and more than 1 lakh is showing in the green color. So you want to differentiate, so we can use this particular set. As well as we can also create a set to show the top items, like say top 3 best selling items or top 5 best selling items. You want to go for it. So out of all those things, I just want to get the top 3 best selling items. Okay, so in that case, what will I do? I just take this subcategory here, and I just go to the create set. This time I'll go to the top. By what bit? I just say top sum of sales. Okay, so by default top 10 is there. I just want only the top 3 sales. Okay, and this is your subcategory set for top 3. I want top 3 items to be highlighted. I'll say okay. Now when you add this to the color, so you can see those particular items, which is the top 3 best selling items, is being shown with a different color. Okay, we are able to get this one. So that is what is the set. Again, you want to have a change here. So I say I want in to be with green color, out, let it be grayed out. Fine. Okay, these are the top best selling items, the top 3 best selling items. So we can have it. Okay, this is how we create a set. So mainly you're defining your own criteria. Based on the criteria, you want to show that as outstanding values, okay, from the other values. Fine, that was about the set. Next is we'll see how do we create hierarchies. See, generally when I talk about hierarchies is nothing but is a grouping of multiple items based on the level. Okay, like example, date has a predefined hierarchy. Okay, in the date we see year. Year has a collection of quarter. Each quarter has a collection of month. Each month has a collection of days. So we can say days are very granular value, okay, green values. And the year is the top level of the hierarchies. The year is the top level of the hierarchies. Okay, fine. So now, the same way here, let us see how do we create a hierarchy. Or if you go with the location base, I say country is the top level, then we have a region. Each country has a different region, north, south, east, west. Under each region will have a state. Under each states will have a city. Under each city will have an area, postal code. Okay, something like that you want to create. So that means you're just grouping based on the hierarchies. Okay, we call this as a hierarchies. Let us see how do we create a hierarchies. Hierarchies arranges the data fields, okay, in a level based on the levels. Example, if you have a geographic hierarchies, you will have a region in the top, okay, or country, then region, the state, area, something like that. Or if it is a date hierarchies, you will have a year. Year will have a collection of quarter, which will have a collection of month, weeks, and so on, or days and so on. Okay, by creating hierarchies in Tableau, we set our data on the different levels of details and organize it. Okay. Let us see practically how do we create a hierarchies. Let me get into this. So for creating hierarchies, see, let us take a scenario here. I want to display the data based on the locations. Country-wise sales. So what I do, I'll take the sales. Okay, this is my total sales, or I can just take the sales as a text, and I'll just say I want to see this based on the country-wise. I'll take the country into the rows. Now this says total sales for United States is 22,97,000, not 2. But in this particular country, okay, we have different regions: central region, south region, east region, west region. I want to see the region-wise sales. So in that case, what I need to do, I need to search where is the regions here. Okay, it is here. So just place it next to it. So you can see it is further divided based on the region-wise. Whatever the total sales is there, it is divided based on the region, and you are able to see the region-wise. Now I say within the region, I want to see the state-wise. I can select the state here, search, first I do search where it is, drag and place, we are able to get it. Now I say no, I want to see the country-wise sales. So that means I need to remove all this. I want to see the state-wise sales. I need to drag and drop where it is, search in this one. Now let us do one thing is, I'll try to create a hierarchy of this and we'll see how this drilling is becomes easy. Okay, so when you're creating a hierarchy, we need to take all the fields which is needed and we need to arrange it based on the level. Okay, the level is, the top level is like, contains a single value, okay, thing, and that individual value level can have a sub levels. Sub levels is a kind of a going granularizing the data. So we say country has a regions. So I'll just select the region, drag and drop onto the country. As soon as you drag and drop, you can see there is a create hierarchies and it is given a name here as country/region, which is the name of that particular field, and within that there is a region. I say no, I don't want a name like this, but instead of that, this is something related to locations. Let me rename that as locations. So I've renamed this as a location, say okay. As soon as I say okay, you can see it has created a hierarchy called as location, which has a country and also it has a region. Now under the region, I want to have a state. What I will do, I'll just take the state and below the region. Okay, the state has a city and add a city below that. Within the city, we have many postal codes. So one city can have one or more than one postal code. I can just have hierarchy. Now we can see here the hierarchy is being created here, locations. Until that, you can see top level of the location is a country, which has a regions, which has the state. Further, the state has the cities and the postal code. So you can collapse, you can expand it. Now take an example. I want to see this particular sales for the location wise. So I'll just take the sales here where it is. So I'll take the sales here and I want to put this based on the location. Okay, so let us go with the numbers itself. Yeah, we have the total sales. I want to put this based on the hierarchy. Where is that location? I'll take the location and the rows. So now you can see it shows me United States is the total sales, and you can see as soon as I create a hierarchy, here it says plus sign. That means there are some sub levels in that. When you expand here, it just says under that is a region, under that is a state, under state we have a city, under that we have a postal code. So I want to see the postal code. Like when you see example here, Chicago has 3 different postal codes where the sales have done. So in Chicago, okay, in this postal code 60610, we have a sales of 13,000. 60623, we have a sales of 18,900. 60653, we have a sales of 16,000. Okay, now I say no, I don't want to go to that level of granularity. I want to see the city wise. Just okay, so we can just minus it here. Or say I want to see I don't want to see that level, but I want to see the state wise. Just hit on the state minus. It goes back to the state. Okay, or region, it just goes back to the region. Or you can always drag it, drill down in and up. Okay, based on your requirement. I say we have gone to this postal code, but I say no, I want to go for the region. Just hit on the region, you will get back to the region. Okay, see, it's not like we have a drill option. Under the region we have a state, under the state we have a city, but I don't want to see this region, state and all these things. So in that case you can have the option of removing it also. You can use like a normal field as well as you get with the drilled option here. So this will be very useful when you are creating some kind of a chart which has the drill down options. So this will be very useful. Okay, so this is how the hierarchy works, and the drill charts mainly used when you're creating the charts. Like if I put as a charts here, so we can see this is the whole country-wise sales, region-wise sales. Within the region, we are able to see the state-wise sales. Within the state, city-wise sales and postal code, we can just go with this kind of thing. Okay, so it becomes easy drill options. Okay, but this is about the hierarchies. Fine. So this particular is a small tools, but very useful when you have organized. In this session, we'll learn about data preparation. We'll try to learn what is data preparation, why do we use data preparation with some of the examples. So what is data preparation? So it says data preparation is a process of preparing raw data so that it is suitable for the further processing and analysis. The key steps include recognized or something. So that we need to convert to an analytics ready data. So you need to convert this raw data to analytics ready data. So to convert this one, so we use something called the pipeline. So in the pipeline, what happens? We transfer the data. When you're doing this, we perform this transformation. Transformation is nothing but identifying the headers, rows, and all those things, and then cleaning the data. So if you have some kind of a null values, how do we handle those particular things? If there is a duplicate values, deleting that. And also filtering. Filtering is sometimes like you might have a lot of data of different regions or different countries and things, and you want only some selected data for the analysis. Yeah, we can also apply the filters, and you can take only the data what is needed for doing the data analytics purpose. Okay, this is the main purpose of going for this data preparations. Now in this one, we have a lot of process we do for preparing this data. Some of the data preparation process we look into is identifying the headers. Okay, so that means if the headers are not being recognized by your Tableau, how we can make it recognized, we look into that. So unpivoting the data. See, generally pivoting is what converting your row by row data to a tabular row by columns data. So unpivoting is going to be the vice versa. You already have the data in a Tableau format. You already have a summarized data, but I want to desummarize it. I want to get this particular tabular data, row by column data into row by the one below the other rows data. Okay, converting it. So that is your pivoting. We look into that, and also replacing the null values. So that means sometimes in your data you might have null values, and when you mainly perform some kind of arithmetic operations with the null values, your arithmetic operation might return a result as null. Okay, because there is one single null value is there, and the whole output might result as null, because any number multiply into 0, it is going to be 0, something like that. I say no, I want to consider null as 0, or I want to consider as empty values. So let us see how do we do that. And the next thing is we'll also look into how we split the columns for the granular analysis. See what happens, sometimes you might have some kind of address column which has a combination of country, region, state, city, and you want to see the analysis of the data where I want to see the country wise or region wise or the city wise. So when you have a subjective address, you will not be able to do the analysis. So there will be a requirement where we need to split, we need to identify the country, region, city, states, all the information. So might be based on some kind of a delimiters, and we'll just see how do we do those particular things with the help of the tablet. So in this particular session, so we'll see about the different process of data preparation. There are many processes, we have taken this, some of these things, we'll look into this particular things. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and see one by one. The first thing is we'll see how do we identify the header rows and let us take an example. I just have my Excel sheet data, which is something like this. Let me open my source data. When I look into this particular source data, I want to read this particular data into my Tableau. When I try to read, this is my Excel sheet, okay, and I have the data from here. This is my A1 column, and you can see in this, I have the column which has been merged. Okay, first thing is it is merged. A to M, all this has become as a single column. You can see all this is C, A1. And you have some subjective data. So I will not be using this data for this. Okay, this is the kind of a heading what is being given. That's one thing. Second thing is when you look into this one is again what happens. Row is also being merged. Okay, this will be merged. Okay, and the third row we have this particular splitted columns, but you can see the first 3 rows data we don't read. I want to read this particular data into my Tableau. When I try to read, this is my Excel sheet, okay, and I have the data from here. This is my A1 column, and you can see in this, I have the column which has been merged. Okay, first thing is it is merged. A to M, all this has become as a single column. You can see all this is C, A1. And you have some subjective data. So I will not be using this data for my analysis. Okay, this is the kind of a heading what is being given. So that is one thing. Second thing is when you look into this one is again what happens. Second row is also been merged. Okay, this whole thing is being merged. Okay, and the third row we have this particular splitted columns, but you can see the first 3 rows data we don't require. So this is the data which is in the different no particular standard formats. What is one thing, because we have some merged columns and some columns with the splits, and apart from that we do also have some kind of a data which we don't use it for the analysis purpose, like headings and all these things. Fine. So what is needed for me is this particular data starting from the row 4 till this. So this is the data on which I can do the analysis. I can do some kind of a summarizations. So now let us see how do we read this particular data. So for doing this, let me open my Tableau. Okay, and I'm just reading this particular file. Okay, so sales data pivot, this is my file name, so which I'm just trying to read this particular file. You can see, so this is the file name, and when you read in this particular file, I have a sheet 1, so I'm trying to read the sheet 1. So when you read this particular sheet 1 here, so let me just drag and drop into my Tableau. So when you see here, when I just drag and drop this data into my Tableau, so my Tableau, what happens is it is reading this particular data which is in this particular style. You can see there is no headings. Okay, there is no proper headings. Okay, so what is happening is now this is considered as a field 1, field 2, field 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So on that basis, you can see the names are given as F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, F6, F7, and so on. And then we can see below that we have this particular descriptive information what is there, and we can see this particular is none. So that means there is no proper headings. Now what I want is I just wanted something like this. I want this to be the headings. I want this to be as a headings, and I don't want to consider this as the headings or null data or all these are like a junk. I need to do this particularly. This is a kind of a transformation. So what we need to do it. So when you have some data which is okay, we are expected in this particular style. So now let us see how do we do this. If I could do this in Tableau, it's very simple. So we can just see in your data source tab itself, that is we are in the data source tab, is it? In the same tab. So we can see here, we will use data interpreter. Okay, so we have this thing called as use the data interpreter. That means we are giving the tab to Tableau. We are telling the tab, you see, look at this particular data. So here we have a lot of junk values and all these things. So try to recognize what is the actual data needed and pick only that particular data. So we'll just tell it to the Tableau. So as we know that Tableau has a kind of a built-in artificial intelligence. It senses the data and things, and it automatically assigns the respective data types and all. So let us see whether it will remove this and it will consider this as my headings. So I'll just check this. We can see there is a small checkbox here. I'll just check this. As soon as I check this, so you can see your data is getting transformed. Okay, as soon as you check this one, so you can see your data is being transformed. Where you can see this has become as the first row as the heading, like segment, region, okay, and every month sales data. So what is there? It has become as the headings. So that means it said segment is the heading, region, Jan, Feb, March to December. Fine, cool. We got this. Now this data is ready, and now what I can do is I can just go to my sheet and then I can do the analysis. What is the total sales? Okay, all these things. Hey, but again you can see when you look into these measures, we have Jan to December. Okay, and so if I want to know what is the sales happen in the month of April, just select this. So this is going to be the only April sales. This is going to be the August sales, and this is going to be December. So like you're not able to get the data in a proper Tableau format or something. The reason is see when you look into this particular data is what is it trying to say is it's a consumer in North region. January we had this much of sales. Okay, for the consumer North region January this is a sales. But now as a data analytics, what I want to do is I want to do the analysis like what is the total sales of consumers. So this is the consumer segment, and total sales of consumer is nothing but it is going to be the sum of this value. Okay, I want to know what is the total sales of consumer in the North region. So there is a consumer and the North region, and there is a various month-wise sales. So sum of this, the blue color highlight circled one, no? So that is going to be the sum of consumers of the North region consumer sales, what it is. So corporate segment, okay, in the North region, this is the sales, and this is the total sales of the corporate segment. So I want to do this kind of analysis. If I have to do this, so what is that I want is I want the data in the form of rows, not in the Tableau format. So that means this is like a pivot table. Okay, so I want the data like segment consumer in the North region for the month of January we had a sales of 18,000, 1800. Consumer in the North region for the month of February we had a sales of 8,900. This should be another row. Okay, so this should be another row like say consumers for the North region, and for the month of March they have done the sales of 4,000. Okay, I want to convert this into rows. Okay, if I have to do this, this we call as the unpivoting. Let us see how do we do this unpivoting. So if I have to do this, what is that I need to do? I want to retain this two columns, that is segment and region, but whatever the January to December sales is there, I will select this one and convert this to the pivot. So what I'm doing here, I'm just selecting this particular, what you say, January to December, and you can just right click anywhere in the selected this one, and you can see we have a pivot. Just right click and you can see you have a pivot. Okay, so just do that. So just hit on the pivot here. As soon as you hit on this pivot, you can see consumer, North region, April, this is sales. Consumer, North region, August, this is sales. Consumer, North region, December, each month for that consumer. Then again, consumer, South region, Jan, Feb, March, April, this one. Consumer for the East region. So it is like this. Now, what is the advantage of this one is when you have the data like this? Okay. Now, let us do one thing is, let me give the names here. Pivot field names and pivot field names. These are nothing but the month name. So I'll just rename this as we have a rename here. I just say month name, fine, good. And this is the sales value. So I just select this, right click this, rename. I say sales amount, whatever it is. Okay, so I just rename this column. So that when you go to the sheet, you can see here. So we have a sheet. Sales is the measure, month name, region, and the segment. Now you can do all types of analysis. Like I say, example, I want to know region wise what is the sales. So it says, okay, total sales in the East region is 1,48,000, North is 1,30,000, South is 1,29,000, West is this. Now I want to see the segment wise. Okay, so that means you can see here the same thing, 1,48,000 was there now. So we can see that is divided. East region, consumer is this much, corporate is this much, North region. Okay, obviously you can get the row columns, row totals and column totals. That we know. Here I can just go to the column grand total to get the grand total, how much of consumers, how much of corporate. So we can get the, what is here, the row totals, which is telling me what is the sales for each region wise. I can get this analysis. Okay, so now I want to see the month wise analysis. So I can just do like this, no? So I'll just go to the month name into rows, and I want the sales, good. Okay, and I want to see this in the each region wise. So I'll select the region into the columns, good. Okay, fine. So we are able to get all those different types of analysis and visualizations where you can do it very easily. Okay, this is where we have done this particular converting your raw data. So which was actually this kind of a data. So first thing was it was not able to recognize, there was no headings, there was a lot of I would say subjective data and all. We had to skip all those particular things. We had to say this is the data to be recognized, and then converting this particular transformation, so which is in the actually in the form of a summarized data in the Tableau format, row by columns, but I'm converting to the row wise. Okay, so we have done this one. Clear? Okay, this is one step of what you say. We have identified the header rows and we also done the unpivoting concepts. Okay, fine, this is clear. The next thing here is we'll see how do we go or replace the null values. Again, very important here. Let me show the example here. Why do we actually need the null values? Let me just take another sheet here, the tab here. I'm just reading this particular product with the null values. Let me show you the Excel file how it is. Okay, I just have this thing called as so when you look into this one, I've just taken a simple data here. In the real time, there will be a lot of null values and all this thing. When you look into this, I just have some products name. What is the price I say they have? Okay, so this is the unit price and this is the discount. Now what I want is I want to know what is the total amount. That is the billing value or total amount. Okay, amount is what? See, this book is costing 65 rupees for me. And then what I want to do is there is a 20% discount given. So if 20% discount is given, so your amount is going to be your 60%, say 20% discount has to be removed. So 20% discount of 65 is going to be 13 rupees. It has to subtract 13 rupees from here and it has to tell me. So 65 minus 13 is 52 something. Okay, so we need to write that particular formula. But when you see this particular chairs, okay, is costing 300 rupees. But when it comes to a discount, I have not given any value. That means discount. Instead of giving 0, okay, I've just left it blank. When I left it blank, leave it blank, and when I try to do this particular calculations, I might get the output also as blank, because in the one part of the expression is null value. So in that case, what I want to do, since you're subtracting the discounted amount, if the discount is not been given, let us give that as a 0, so that you will not do any kind of a discount. So whatever the price is there, that should be the amount. But in this case, there is a 20% discount. For 65 rupees, 20% discount is 13 rupees. It should be 65 minus 30 is 13 is 52. Okay, so here you can see 225, 10% discount is there, 10% discount of 225 is 25 rupees discount, 225 should be this one. So we wanted something like this. So let us import this particular data and things. Yeah, I've just imported this particular data. When you look into this particular data here, okay, we just have this same thing, null values and so on. Now if I have to do this analysis, I want to know what is the actual amount. Okay, let us see how do we do this. So actually I have not renamed the column, which is not done here. No problem. I'll just go to the product name, actual price. This is the unit price. Okay, and this is the discount which is there. Now I want to know what is the billing amount. I have to calculate the billing amount. So billing amount is nothing but your actual amount. So your billing amount is going to be your actual amount minus the amount into discount, is it? Okay, is it? So that means if I have to know the billing amount, it is like this, no? Billing amount is like, actual amount is 65. So 65 minus 65 into 20%. Okay, so that means it has to subtract 20% of the actual amount from this amount. That is going to be the billing amount, is it? So if it is 100 rupees is the actual unit price, and we are giving 20%, so it is 100 minus 100 into 20. 100 into 20 is like, 20% of 100 is 100 into 20% of 100 is 20. So 100 minus 20 is going to be 80. So something like that we have to write the formula. So let us see how do we write this. Okay. So for this, I just write a simple calculation here. Let me go to the calculated field, because I want to know what is the billing amount. I want to know what is the billing amount. So your billing amount is not going to be nothing but the actual amount, okay, minus amount, okay, into what is it, discount, amount into discount. That's it. I just say apply. I say okay. Now when you add this billing amount, so you can see here, okay, this is my billing amount. So it says 65 rupees is the book price, and 20% discount, 52 is the selling price. As in 13 rupees, 10% is 6.5, 20% is 13 rupees. So from 16, 13 minus is 52. Okay, from 250, 10% is 25. So my 250 minus 10% of that is 25, minus 25, it is 225. We are able to get this. But here what is happening in the case of chairs? In the case of chairs, since there is no discount, so when you subtract this null value, whole output is becoming as null here. Okay, the whole output is becoming as null. So in this case, I want to say no. In this case, if there is no value there, replace that with 0. That means don't subtract any discount. That is what I want to do. So if I have to do this in Tableau, what is that we do is, so we just modify, we add a function called as Zn. Okay, so we just go to the edit function. So that means we write this function Zn. What is that we do? Yeah. So we'll just go to this particular billing amount, edit the formula, and I'll just say the Zn is 0. Okay. If there is null value, replace that null with the 0. Zn is 0 replace 0 with null values. Okay. Okay. Or I can say replace the null value with the 0. That is what is the meaning of 0 null. Okay. Zn function. So I'll just enclose this within this function Zn. Okay, and I just say apply, say okay. As soon as I say apply, you can see in this case, when there is a null value, it is considering as 0. That means it has to subtract 300 minus 0 is 300, 10 minus 0 is 10. But here when there is a value, okay, 30% discount, for 500, 30% discount is 150. So after discounted amount is 350. For 65, 20% is after discounting 52. Okay, so this is where you have a null value, but I want to convert that null to to 0 based on the kind of expression required. So I've just used a simple calculation here as Zn and we have replaced it. Okay, this is one scenario of cleaning the data, identifying the null value. So most common the problem is this: when you pull the data from the different sources, they have stored the value of null, or maybe the reading is not recorded and things. So now in that case we need to replace with the alternate value and go ahead with the calculations. Okay, that was with the identifying, replacing the null values. Next is, okay, in the data transformation. So we'll see how do we use a split columns. Hey, what is the split columns? See, when you look into this particular thing, so I just have this particular sales data here, and in the sales data, when you see here, we have a order ID, order date, ship date and things, and we have a product ID and we have a sales also. But address, it is stored something like this. We have the state name, city name, region, okay, city name, state name, region name and the country name. Okay, we have India, we have the data from United States also, all these things. Now what I want to do is, I want to do an analysis, region wise how the sales have happened, country wise how the sales have happened, or state wise how the sales have happened, or city wise how the sales have happened. I want to do this analysis. So with the help of this kind of data, you will not be able to do the analysis. So now let us read this particular data and we'll try to do the analysis. Okay, fine. I'm just reading this particular data. So I've just read this particular data with the null values. Now I just imported this, and you can also see here I just have this address or something like this. Now if I try to go to this analysis, and if I do the analysis based on the address, so you are getting it like this, your address is like this, yeah, address is coming like this, and then if I go to the sales, you are just getting, but I say no, I want to see the country wise how the sales have happened, region wise how the sales have happened, city wise or state wise how the sales have happened. I want to be able to do the analysis. So now let us read this particular data and we'll try to do the analysis. Okay, fine. I'm just reading this particular data. So I've just read this particular data with the null values. Now I just imported this, and you can also see here I just have this address or something like this. Now if I try to go to this analysis, and if I do the analysis based on the address, so you are getting like this, your address is like this, yeah, address is coming like this, and then if I go to the sales, you are just getting, but I say no, I want to see the country wise how the sales have happened, region wise how the sales have happened, city wise or state wise how the sales have happened. I want to do that analysis. If I have to do this, so this will not work out. Okay, so I need to split this addresses, and you need to see one thing here. When you observe, when this particular data is being stored, okay, with all the combination of city, country, state and region, so they have used some of the standards to split this data, or like based on which they are differentiating. So you can see there is a comma after every every part of the address, there is a comma. So we have a city name, we have a state name, we have the region name, and then we have a country name. Okay, now I need to split based on the comma separator. So whenever you get this kind of a data, there will be some kind of a patterns. Okay, we need to identify what is the pattern based on which we are going to split this. Okay, so we understood the pattern is we have a city name, state name, region name and the country name, and all these are separated with a comma. So I need to split based on the comma. So what will I do? I just right click on this and I just say call custom split. So I need to split based on the comma delimiters. So that is the reason I'm telling as a custom split. Okay, so what I did, right click on this, I say custom split. Now based on what you want, I want to split based on the comma. Okay, so based on the comma I want to split, and here we have a split first or only the last. I say no, there are many values with a comma separator. First city, state and everything is there. So I want to split all with commas. So what I will do here is I just select all. Okay, and I just say it as okay, and you can see now you would have got this address is there, but apart from that you can see you would have got this 4 additional column. This is a split of address, split 1, split 2, split 3 and split 4. So now split 1 is what is the name of the city. I'll rename this as city. and this is your state name. I'll just rename this as state. Okay, and this is the region. I'll just say rename this as region, and this is my country. I can just rename this as country. I've done this. So now what I will do, I'll just go to my sheet here, and we can see we got this particular columns. Now you can create a hierarchy. Okay, we have a country. Under the country we have a region. I can just put it inside this, and I'll just say these are something to do with locations. I'm just creating a hierarchy here. So we have a country, region, and under each region we'll have a state. Under each state we'll have the city. Fine, I'll just group this. Now you can see here, what I will do is I'll just go to the location price. I want to know what is the sales. I'll take the location into rows, and I want to know what is the sales have happened. So we can see in the location we have two things here. One is India and the United States, and you can see the India we have a sales of 4,59,000, and United States we have a 58,10,000 ka sales have happened. Okay, now in India we have the different regions. So we can see when I just expand this, in India we have 4 regions, north, south, east, west. We can see how the sales have happened. In United States we don't have a north, we have central, east, south and west. So we can see how the sales have happened in each region. So further if I drill, so you can see the state wise, I'm able to do this particular drill options here. Okay, and we can see under east region we have Bihar, Chhattisgarh. South region of India we have Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and things. Under east state you have a city. Just expand this, city wise. Okay, in the Odisha we have these 2 cities. Okay, so under Karnataka you can see Bangalore, Belgaum, Bellary, Gulbarga, all these are the cities. Fine. I am from Bangalore, Karnataka. It's okay, fine. So we are able to see this. You can see the same thing in United States, central. So in the central we have this particular state. Under each state the cities, and you can see each cities may have the sales of happened. Now I say no, I want to see state-wise sales or region-wise sales. You can just remove this country. You don't want the city. So you can see under each state, region, city-wise, state-wise sales, or you just want to see the state-wise sales. Good. Okay, so this is like you can do this particular kind of a drill options, or you can go to the granular reports. You can see the reports, the country-wise, the state-wise, the city-wise. Okay, region-wise how the sales been happening. You want to do this particular analysis here. Exactly, this is where we do this analysis. Okay, so this is the purpose of doing this particular cleaning the data. So we saw in this particular session is data preparation. So we understood data preparation is just nothing converting your raw data to an analytics ready data, and we just saw this particular 4 options of converting it. So we saw the concept of identifying the headers and pivoting the data. We saw with this identifying the null values, replacing the null with the 0. Okay, and also we saw how to use a split. I hope this session was informative. Okay, thank you.